Welcome to the Behind the Spine podcast, where we go beyond the cover and into the heart of every story. I'm Latoya Guillory, certified master mindset and author coach and founder of The Intentional Author. This space is for writers, authors, and creatives who are ready to move past fear, self-doubt, and perfectionism and step fully into their purpose. Here we talk about the real journey of writing and publishing, the mindset, the discipline, the lessons, the breakthroughs, and the stories that don't always make it onto the page. Each episode brings you honest conversations, practical strategies, and powerful encouragement to help you write with intention and publish with confidence. Show up boldly as the author you were created to be. So grab your notebook, your favorite drink, and a quiet moment for yourself. Let's go behind the spine and into the story. If you're an author trying to get your book in front of the right readers, let me introduce you to something you should have on your radar: Tertulia. Tertulia is a powerful book discovery platform that connects books with readers through trusted recommendations from journalists, authors, and thought leaders. Instead of your book getting lost in an endless online marketplace, it gets surfaced through conversations and curated lists that people are already paying attention to. What I love about this is readers don't just find books by searching, they discover them through people they trust. That means your book has the potential to show up in front of an audience that is already interested in the topics you write about. So if you're serious about visibility, building credibility, and expanding your reach as an author, take a look at Tertulia and see how it can position your book in meaningful conversations. Because writing the book is one thing, make sure the right people discover it. That's the real strategy. If you want to learn more, click the link in the show notes. We'll see you soon. Marta Spirk is a speaking coach, TEDx speaker, best-selling author, and professional singer who helps women entrepreneurs turn their story into a powerful, revenue-generating signature talk. She supports her clients in clarifying their message, delivering it with confidence, and leveraging speaking as a strategic income stream on stages, podcasts, and within their businesses. Through her coaching programs, keynotes, podcasts, and award-winning book, The Empowered Woman, The Ultimate Roadmap to Business Success, Marta blends storytelling, thought leadership, and practical speaking strategy so women can be seen, heard, and paid for their voice. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. Today, I am Latoya Guillory, the Intentional Author, and I am the host of the Behind the Spine podcast. Today, we have the pleasure of learning from and introducing Marta Spirk. She is a singer, a TED Talk speaker. She is the best-selling author of Empowered Woman, The Ultimate Roadmap to Business Success. Hi there, Marta. How are you doing
I
today?
am great. I'm super excited for our chat. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. I'm so excited to get you on here. You're an award-winning author. Tell us about that and your process.
Yes, absolutely. So, whenever people ask me about how did I get to writing a book and how hard it was, I always say that the biggest block was my mind or my insecurities. The actual process really isn't that hard. Anyone can write a book these days. We live in a day and age where you can upload stuff on Amazon and say, I'm a published author. So that's not really the sticky point. The sticky point is really admitting to yourself and believing that you have something valuable to say that people will resonate with. And I was surrounded by other entrepreneurs that were authors. I thought this could be something I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure what exactly I would say. And then I had a mentor that had published 9 books, and he encouraged me and he said, write an airplane book. Write something that people can read in one sitting that will give them an introduction to who you are and what you're about. Not only just as a memoir, but giving people lessons and tools
Yeah,
they can use,
yeah.
right? So that's what I did. This was my my first child book into the world. I have participated in anthologies and I launched my own anthology as well. But it's a short book. It talks about, my immigration from Brazil, me having triplets, and it was an amazing journey. And it was short, but I've gotten great feedback. It's been since 2022, so 4 years now, which is crazy to think about when it first launched. And in 2023, I actually won an award in the business category for SIPA, which is the collective of independent publishers and authors. And I'm very grateful for the journey. It's opened many doors.
Awesome. Now, what was that aha moment where you said, I want to write a book? What was that for you?
Yeah, I think the idea that this could be a way for people to get to know me beyond what I was already doing. Like this can be an additional vehicle because I've been
Mm.
leveraging social media, I've been leveraging speaking, I've been networking, and then having the book positioned me as an authority in a different capacity and also was a great extra thing to have, a tangible thing, especially because my
Right.
business is service based. I don't sell t-shirts, I don't sell anything tangible. So having that tangible that I could gift someone or that I could
Yeah.
offer after speaking made it really interesting to me. So I think the aha, and it came a lot from that mentor of mine and seeing what he was doing with his books, selling it in his events was this is a different way for people to connect with me. Why wouldn't I do it?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because people want that authentic connection anyway, right? They want the
Yeah,
unfiltered you, I like to call it, the
yeah,
authentic you, with all the bells and whistles, just the real gritty, like this is what it is. This is, what my story became, and this is who I am now. It's part of I say it's a part of my chapter. It's not the whole book kind of
yes,
thing,
I love that. Mhm,
you know.
mhm.
Um, what part of the journey would you say challenged you the most? Because you wear a lot of hats. Of course,
Mhm.
as women, we all wear a lot of hats, right? Like you say, you're a TED Talks speaker, you sing, you've got triplets.
I
I
do.
mean, that's the whole thing, right? So what was the most challenging part for you in your writing process?
Yeah, so what was interesting too is that this mentor of mine said, I didn't write any of my books, I spoke them. And that was
Mm,
really interesting to me, uh, having a ghostwriter instead of putting myself, you got to write 2,000 words today or whatever it may be. I know there's different coaching methodologies and I
yeah.
think different
Hmm.
things work for different people. But when I understood, because I'd already had my podcast, I was already speaking and I love speaking, I thought this will come out of me so much faster and I won't, let overthinking or procrastination bog me down if I just record it. And at the time, I had just really refined my framework and my coaching process in 5 steps. And I thought, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about each of the steps in a separate audio. I am going to really treat it as the steps for the book, but add
Yeah.
examples in my own stories. And then I will hand this over to a ghostwriter and they will help me. And that's exactly what it was. And that's how it went fast was when once I decided this is what I'm going to talk about and this is how I'm going to do it. And I found the professionals to help me. Everything just flowed smoothly from there. I want to say I recorded the things in like around July. I finally started
Hmm.
working with a publishing consultant and an editor at around, I want to say September-ish. And by December, everything was pretty much in place, but we decided to wait until early January to release just to get over the hump of the holidays. And that was
Yeah.
that. I mean, it was about 6 months of actual work, but it came with a decision of I have something valuable to say. I know what I'm going to say, and professionals are going to help me make sense out of what's in my head. I don't have to do it alone.
Oh, yes. I love that so much because there's so many things that we do as people, and there's so many more people nowadays, not just wearing one hat, but
Mhm.
wearing multiple
Yes.
hats. And ghostwriting is such a helpful tool for
Yeah.
those types of people, right? I mean, of course, you want your own hand in it, you want your own voice in it,
Yeah.
And when I do ghostwriting, that's kind of what I do. I make sure your voice and all that is there.
Yes.
But having somebody to kind of take the reins and say, okay, this has one too many, but I really need to get it done.
Yeah,
Let me just go ahead and get that into your hands kind of thing.
absolutely. It
That's
helps.
amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing. 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 What did this process kind of reveal about you? You know, as you're going to do these voice notes and whatnot, and you're preparing to give this to somebody else.
Yeah.
What did you learn about yourself in that whole process?
I really learned to see the common thread through my professional life and in my personal life. Like they really went hand in hand. And even looking at what I'm doing right now, even though it's years after the book has been published, I can still see how, they overlap and they intertwine and they really inform each other because as I was sharing, where I grew up, my family, because I started from the beginning, the first lines of my book is I was born in Sao Paulo, Brazil, December 2nd, 1986. And I go from there and saying, I was the second child, the youngest, etc. And it's interesting because the work that I do now has a lot to do with all of this journey. I mean, it's who I am. I'm the common denominator, so I think writing the book was a cathartic process in many ways. Yes, it's helpful for the visibility, getting people to know me, but just like
Yeah,
what you're saying, it's allowed me to get to know myself and understand that because sometimes we make decisions in life and we think this doesn't make any sense. But it's hard
yeah,
to see it when you're in it, obviously. And that's why we have coaches and mentors and communities to reflect back to us and to help us. But so to give you a more tangible example, I grew up very interested in languages and I built a career of about 20 years, honestly, because I started when I was 14 teaching
mm,
English in Brazil. I became an interpreter, a translator, so I became a professional communicator of other people's messages. But
oh
then
wow,
once I had kids, something shifted to where I wanted to share my story. I wanted to be,
right,
not somebody else's. And the book, as meta as it is about that. you know? So it's like, oh my gosh, this is a big shift. It's time for me to share my story and everything makes sense, right? It's
yeah,
just this huge mosaic of experiences.
that's so cool. Learning to find your own voice within the story of others, almost, right?
Yes,
Like
yes,
that's awesome.
yeah,
How did you? So, we get excited about the launch of the book and all of that kind of stuff. What was your marketing approach when your book came out? I know you had editors and publishers and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. Did they do all that for you? And what does your marketing look like now that it's published?
Yeah. No, they did not do it all for me. And that was another reason why I was able to get it all out is because it was not a super, expensive investment because at the time, in the beginnings of my business, I didn't have that. I know of people
Hmm.
that spend, 20 grand or more on marketing packages and all of that. And I think if you have the money and you don't have the time and they are qualified, because sometimes you can get scammed. But
Yes,
that's,
yes, yes.
that's a tangent there. If they are going to do what they said that they will do, then awesome. It saves you the
Yeah,
time. But nothing beats you talking about yourself and, the belief in yourself. So I took the approach that I was already taking for my offers as a consultant. And I did the same thing. I treated the book like this $1 million offer that I stood by, even if it
yeah.
wasn't going to make me millions, because that's the other piece, right? Sometimes there's the misconception of I'm going to be a New York Times bestseller. And it's like, well, it doesn't really happen like that. But it's another tool that you get to, put out there. So I leveraged social media, I leveraged my local community. Essentially, everything that I do for my coaching, I did
Mhm.
for the book. I treated it as this premium offer that I was super excited about because that's also what I've learned. If you are excited about it, people are going to get excited. Don't wait for people to get excited about it to be excited about
Right,
it.
right. They're waiting for you to get excited about it first so
Yes.
that they can get excited about it.
You
Yes,
need to toot
absolutely.
your own horn. I mean, that's business one on one. If you don't stand by your products and services, then nobody else will. I did an in-person signing, book signing. I rented a venue. I had people come in. I had, clients and people that helped me in the journey stand up, read a portion of the book. And I did the same thing virtually as well, so more people could get around. I had a launch team, so people helping me with the reviews. So all of that was for the first launch. Now, the way that I leverage my book, sometimes I do, promotions, Mother's Day, free shipping, and things like that because it's, signed copy. But for the most part, because I did the audiobook, and because I've leveraged different groups to get lots of reviews, I
Hmm.
get sales on Amazon pretty much on its own because of, the rankings of the book and the work that I have done throughout the years. So that helps with some of the sales. It's not millions, but it's no
Yeah.
little money coming in here and there. And then I do a lot of speaking. So as a speaker, it's really great to have something to sell, especially if you're a service provider on your vendor booth. When I get hired to speak out of town, I ask them to purchase copies of my book as part of my speaking fee so that each participant
Mm,
gets the book and we get to do a signing there. So it's all
yeah.
part of the strategy of
Yeah.
getting to know me, So that's how I've been leveraging now. And I gift it, when I meet somebody that I really enjoyed, I could send them a card in the mail or I could send them my book. So that's what I
Yeah. So I want to kind of touch on that a little bit longer.
do.
So, and I do this as well, but not a lot of people do this as far as, a lot of authors don't know that you can do this or don't make a habit of doing this, so to speak. But creating packages as you speak at different conferences and things of that nature, that's so much more lucrative than trying to sell a book one-on-one. So kind of go through your process. How did you put your packages together? You know, how do you leverage your TED Talk speaking and all of that so that they understand that there's more to just a launch party? There's so much more that the idea is to get the book into the hands of the people that can read them, right? That need to
Yeah.
read them.
Yeah.
And so those types of avenues are so important for authors to really take a part of. Speak to your journey in that whole process.
Yeah. And thank you for saying that because I think there's a huge misconception. Again, I'm going to put the book out and then everyone's going to buy it. Everyone's going to know about it. No, if you're not talking about it, no one's going to know about it. Just because it's on
Right.
Amazon, it doesn't mean that, what is it that they say? Build it and the people will come. They will
Yeah,
absolutely
right.
not come. Believe me,
Mhm.
you need to
It's
be.
just a movie, people.
Yeah, they will. You need to be talking about it. Doesn't end.
Yeah,
Launching is a big
yeah,
party, but you essentially need to be launching it all the time and talking about it all
mhm,
the time. Obviously, being strategic because you need to give attention to other things that you're doing. But to your point, it really depends on the event. I leverage speaking a lot, and that is one of the points of negotiation whether it is a paid opportunity. I don't like to say free because nothing is free. My time, my time is money. But if they allow me to have a vendor booth and the opportunity to sell, because some events don't, and it's like, well,
yeah,
then we need to negotiate something here because I need to, at least be able to get in front of people in a different capacity and give them the opportunity to buy from me, you know.
yeah,
So that's another piece, and that's a really huge benefit of having a book because you position yourself as an authority already just by the looks of this person has published a book. It changes who you are and people's perception of who you are, right? So
yes,
that is something that I'm really adamant about is can I have a display of my materials? Can I receive the contacts of the people participating? That's another piece of negotiation because I can add them to my email list. I can, find
hmm,
them on social media. I can track these people down. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to because I'm not the organizer of the conference, right?
yeah,
But in terms of the packages and negotiating fees, I always like to I give my clients the secret question is what is your budget for speakers? Because oftentimes
hmm,
people don't realize that if they don't ask this question, they will assume that you're free or they will assume that, they'll pay your lunch and you're good to go. You have to be the one that initiates and
yeah,
asks that question and then go from there and say, I am a published author. I could bring my books or we could include that as and that is really valuable for organizers because people love
yeah,
books, right? And depending on where you're speaking, especially if you're speaking for corporate, hardly ever employees that are participating of an event will buy something for themselves. They're expecting the company to gift it to them. because oftentimes they're required to be present, right? So it really
Yes.
depends on the audience, the context, what's worth it for you. Because if they're already paying and they don't want me to sell my books there, that's great because I'm already getting something out of the deal, and then I can do my due diligence of connecting with people and getting my book in their hands in a different fashion. So I would say
Yeah.
it really depends on the opportunity, who's in the room, because at the end of the day, my main MO as a professional is not to sell as many books as possible necessarily. I am more interested in helping as many people as possible through my services. And my book
Yes.
is a vehicle because that's the other
Correct.
misconception is I'm going to be a multimillionaire because I'm an author. Not so fast. Yeah.
So I know that this is a book about writing and self-publishing and that kind of thing. But
Mhm.
I do want to, just because I have you here, I
Yeah.
do want you to talk about your business a bit because it kind of to me goes hand in hand, as you know, with speaking and things like that. So I want to give you the floor for that and just to kind of promote your business now and what you do for your clients.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me that opportunity because it does go hand in hand. And I was at times going to talk about it, and I was like, that's not the focus, Marta. However, it's so connected. So I am a speaking coach and I help women really get their stories out there, which is exactly what a book does, but in a different format, right? But words on a page are very, very different than spoken words. And I believe there's a different element of connection with the audience and a different level of confidence that comes along as well with getting in front of people, and people really respect that. And I know that speakers, they have the opportunity to touch people in a way that others that are not in front of an audience don't have the opportunity to because it is already a vulnerable thing. So
Yeah,
the audience already perceives you in a different way by standing in front of them because you are standing out, literally, because you are in front of the whole room. Everybody else can judge as much as they want, but they're sitting down. You're standing.
right.
So that is a different position, and it's a position of authority, and it's also a position of opportunity because if you are speaking to a group, you have the opening now to reach out individually to each of those people if you have the ability to. Because you were not just a participant in the networking event or in the conference, you were a speaker, you were a presenter. So now I get to connect with you on LinkedIn after my presentation and I get to say, hi, thank you so much for coming. What were your takeaways? Now, you
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily do that to somebody that you just networked with. Like, it was great getting to know you. Let's get to know each other at a deeper level. The positioning is different. I am already reaching out to you as an authority saying, what did you think? And is there an opening for us to work together? Is this something that you need support with? So I believe speaking is a great lead generation tool that already positions you in a selling capability without even having to be, so direct because you're already
Yeah.
doing a job in front of people. So I'm
Right.
a huge proponent of that. And this is what I guide my clients to do is to, and what's interesting is that I work with a lot of authors that have the book and now they want to create a talk based on the book. And it's like easy peasy. You've done all the work. All the hard
Yeah.
work is already writing the book. We're doing a summarized version of it, right? And then there are people that once we work on their talk, they're like, oh my gosh, I could write a book now because the message
Mm,
and the direction is a lot clearer. I just need to expand. Obviously, I need
yeah.
more words and elaborate on the points, but they really go hand in hand. And I'm a geek. I could geek out about this all day long.
Love it. I love it. So if you are in the market for the coach that will help you with your speaking, women only.
Yes.
She does specialize with women only. So if you are an author and you are looking for a coach to help with your speaking platform, please contact Marta. She will be able to get you all the things that you need to brand and build your author brand for your audience. So I want to kind of track back and I want to find out from you, like, what was the most challenging part of the writing process for you?
Um, I'd always struggled even back in school when the teachers would um, kind of like object to or want me to elaborate on certain things or say, there wasn't enough information here whenever I would write an essay. It's like,
Mhm.
this is enough. Like, I don't want to edit this. It's already good. So I was a little bit intimidated like already suffering in anticipation uh, from the edits from the editor. Like
Mhm.
as much as I want somebody else to go through this and give me input, I also don't want them to tell me that I need to redo the entire thing. So that was a big fear. Just, I
Yeah.
guess trauma, PTSD from skill, from, college and all of that. Like I had this one professor that was just so anal about details, and she was the one that lowered my GPA from 4 to 395 because of an A minus. So I have certain things that I
Yeah, yeah,
that I have gone through. So I think that was challenging. Was
yeah,
like she sent me the email. Let's see what she said. It ended up never being something like this is trash, redo, like I was
yeah.
fearing. But it did challenge me. It challenged me to elaborate, explain things a little bit more. And I think honestly, if it was the Marta of today going through this process, I would have embraced it a lot more because I have learned to accept constructive criticism so much more. That's
Mhm.
been a journey for me to not see it as, rejection or a reprimand or something like that. So it's always tricky to have, it's your baby, right? To have people say,
Right,
it's not that,
right.
it's not quite there. Tweak it. Hmm.
I was telling one of my clients, I was like, it's like giving your baby to the daycare for the very first time.
Yes, it's scary.
You know, it's scary because, they've been, and you become, I tell people, you become a mother once that baby has a heartbeat.
Yes,
Even though it's in your belly, celebrate Mother's
yep,
Day, right?
absolutely.
Because you have to keep that baby alive,
Mm,
you know? And so celebrate Mother's Day on Mother's Day if you have a baby in your belly because you are a mother at that
amen.
point that heart starts to beat.
Hmm.
Okay? And so when you're giving, you're birthing, you have the 9 month process and whatnot, and you give birth, and then all of a sudden, that 3 week or you have to go back to work kind of situation happens, and you have to give that baby over to the daycare or whoever it is.
Yes,
There's a heart tug that happens, and it's the same process that happens with your writing and your baby that you're giving over to the publishers or to the editors or formatters and all that kind of stuff.
yes.
So it's definitely a mindset shift for sure,
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
all mindset for sure.
Is there anything you would have done differently in your process?
Um, I don't know that I would have. I think I did work with a different company when I published my anthology afterwards, and they had a lot more of a robust system in terms of the marketing. And granted, that was a collaboration book, so there were 21 authors plus myself. So the promotion went a lot farther because it was a lot more people talking about the same thing. So I learned so much more because I had more tools, but with what I had at the time, I feel like I did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Mhm. Any new projects in your future?
I keep thinking that I want to write another book because my focus in terms of my coaching has shifted. It's always been about empowering women, just how I
Mhm.
do it and what I've learned and what I've accomplished. Honestly, it has changed throughout the years since 2022. A lot has happened. So I
Yeah.
do have the desire of publishing something that is more focused on the work that I do now in terms of speaking. I haven't gotten as far as mapping it out or setting any dates. But my big dream is having a large in-person event where I get to showcase my speaker clients. I have done local ones where I have had local clients speak and showcase the talk that we've built together, but I have clients all over the US now and Canada, overseas, and I would love the opportunity to meet them in person and to give them the platform. So that's something that I would love to do this year.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I'm a big conference buff. I love to go to conferences
I
and
do.
learn and meet new people and network and all of the things. I love to do that. So, what do you hope your readers walk away with when they read your book?
I want them to be empowered. That's really the big goal. And, one of the opening lines, I think, so I start um, the actual first chapter talking about more of my story, but the beginning of my intro really is you are special.
Mm,
And, you know, that's really what I want them to get out of it is through my journey of realizing that that was something different about me that the world could benefit from, they will look at themselves and be like, there's something special about me, regardless of where I've come from, regardless of if I had a boring childhood or a traumatic childhood, regardless of if I moved or if I never moved, regardless of if I
Hmm.
pursued all my dreams or if I never did, whatever it may be, everybody has. And it's interesting. So that's what I was looking back, that's always been my thing. And now what
Yeah.
I do with women is very similar, a little different, but it's, the work that I do with them, sometimes I sit across from them and I say, everybody needs to hear this. This story is
Yeah.
amazing. Because sometimes I hear, and I know you go through this as well in terms of the writing processes. Sometimes I'm the first one to hear what happened outside of their immediate circle because that's not something they've
Yeah.
shared on social media. They've been
Yeah.
so business focused. The personal piece is missing, and that's what I get to see and hear and get to reassure them. So that's really the goal is to have them see that nobody else can make the impression that they can make. So they need to get out there and get visible.
Yeah, absolutely. So my tagline is write it, believe it, publish it. I want people to know whether you wrote one book or you've never written a book and you're an aspiring writer. I want people to know that they can do this, that they have a story inside of them. And they've had it in their head, in their mind, and it's been a dream of theirs for a long time, but they don't really know where to start or where to go. What would you tell that person that's kind of on the fence, like, I want to write this book, but I'm scared? What
Yeah.
would you tell them to go for it?
Well, first off, go to a bookstore or go to a library. What do you see? A bunch of books by a bunch of authors. You can be one of them. But then there's the argument, well, if there's so many other people that have already done it, why would they listen to me? And the difference really is they would listen to you if you really believe. So I love that you have that in the tagline. If you really believe that there is something that you can add to the conversation, even if the conversation is already happening, your unique take is unique because again, we are this huge quilt of experiences and they're all so unique. So the filter is so different, which means it will be different. And sometimes there is one person out there, and if there is one person, that's enough, but it's more than one person that will only hear it from you. Like they will be
Yeah,
impacted if they hear it specifically from you. And the final thing is don't wait for it to be the perfect message. And that's, what I got out of it. Like I need to be 80 years old because then I will have lived enough to have something substantial. That is absolutely not true. It doesn't have to be the canon of your life because you can write
no,
more than one book.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was something else that, the revelation came to me towards the end of the book. I remember the editor said, this is not really the scope. And that's when I realized it's not the scope, but that's another book then. If I wanted to touch
yeah,
on this more specifically, right? So then I realized that's how people write more than one book.
yeah,
So you can write more than one. So don't wait for
yeah.
it to be perfect. Just get it out there.
Yeah. I like to tell people, once you write once, it
Hmm.
never stops.
It never.
You're an author, you're a writer.
Yeah.
There's another one coming. You may not know when it is or what the topic is going to be, and that's okay
Yep.
because it's all in the right timing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But once an author, always an
Yes. I love
author.
that.
Well, tell us, Marta, where can we find your book? If we wanted to go ahead and get a copy of your book, we've got Amazon and things like that. Do you have your own website as well? And we get you on your socials. Tell us about that.
Yes, absolutely. So you can find it on Amazon, super easy to find. Or you can go to my website. If you go to martaspirk.com/book, you can order directly from me. And I do some packages with discounts if you want to buy more than one copy or gift it to friends. And it's a signed copy. And you receive a little extra gift as well if you buy it directly from me. But Amazon works just as good. And if you like audiobooks, it's an airplane book, so you can probably, listen to it even faster than you would read it. And I recorded it myself, so it's in my voice.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Marta, for coming on and letting us get to know you a little bit better. I'm so excited to see what happens next with you in book two and what you're doing with your coaching business. You guys can find Marta, and her information will be in the show notes. Thanks again, Marta, for coming on here. I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending this time with me on the Behind the Spine podcast. If today's episode spoke to you, take a moment to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow writer who needs the encouragement. For more support, resources, and ways to work together, visit theintentionalauthor.com and connect with me on social. Remember, your story matters, your voice is needed, and your book deserves to be written. Until next